Hey, welcome to Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. In case you're new to our channel, we live in the Midwest in a log cabin that I built myself from wood from the forest in 90 days. We collect rainwater and we use that as a 100% primary source of water on our homestead. Well, 99.9%. That we use on our homestead for drinking, bathing, brushing our teeth, making tea, the animals, the garden. Everything we do here is rainwater catchment. One of the things when we built this property that we looked into was building a well, and it just wasn't feasible for us to build the well because well prices around here are around $10,000 plus, and again, there's no guarantee that you'll actually hit the water, and also wells do run dry and require a power source. That was one of the main things that we took into consideration because we do live off grid, is that we wanted to be able to collect water and disperse it without the use of any pumps, power. So we have a saying here, it's called no pumps, no power, no problem. We have a gravity-fed water catchment system, and today we're just going to tackle some of the questions that we get a lot of. We have a whole playlist, if you guys want to check it out, it's right here, of our whole install, and they're old videos, so it was when we were first starting to do videos, so I was just using a cell phone and stuff like that, but I think it drives home the point on the installation process and pretty much a step-by-step way if you wanted to do something like this, how it could happen for you. So we're going to tackle some of these questions right now, and hopefully you guys get some nuggets from this information. Calculations. You get a ½ gallon per square inch of roof per inch of rain. Our roof is approximately 1,100 square feet, so we collect about 9,000 gallons on a 2-inch rain. Yeah, we have a 150 gallon first flush diverter, so it depends on the square footage of the roof that you're collecting off of on how much of a diverter that you're going to need. A diverter is basically going to take the first couple of inches of rain, dump it in that tank, fill up, and then as it fills up, it allows the fresh clean water not to go in anymore, and then it goes through the pipes because water takes the path of least resistance. So if you have an inline system, meaning if you have your gutter, let's see, if you have your gutter right here and then you have a pipe that comes down and you're putting a first flush diverter inside of there, I guess it could work on a smaller roof, but it's not something that I would recommend. A good first flush tank is just going to take care of that problem for you. Even if you don't have a lot of bird droppings or anything else, you get pollen and just general dirt and debris on your roof just because you have a roof. So it's a good thing to have for us is the first flush diverter, 150 gallons, and then everything after that goes right into the main tanks. And we also collect rainwater in these 275 gallon food grade IBC totes. A lot of you can find these on Craigslist, and they're super handy around any property, homestead, or wherever you need to collect water. Every one of the buildings on our property has the ability to collect its own water, so each building is self-sufficient. This right here is a sheep shed, so we'll fill this up, and as it rains throughout the year, it'll provide plenty of water for them to drink all summer long. We've never put a drop of chlorine or anything in our water to treat it. We do have a 3-stage filtering system from a 5 micron down to a 1 micron with some carbon. So it's just like basically having a Berkey, if you've ever heard of a Berkey water filter, and it comes right out of our tap, and we're brushing our teeth with it, drinking with it, and using it just like you would your sink at home. I actually have some more tanks right there getting ready for some future projects. We're actually building an outdoor shower, and then we're also going to be putting the larger tank in the garden area and collect rainwater right off of our greenhouse to supply our garden area with the water needs that we have. It gets really cold here in the Midwest, zeros, minus zeros. This year was probably our hardest year so far out of the 3 years we've been had the system. And it was a little bit challenging, but with a barrel stove that we have inside, you probably saw the stovepipe sticking out of the roof on one of the other shots. We also put in a couple of propane heaters, and that seemed to work very well. So come back, make sure you hit the subscribe button, ring the bell down below, because we're actually going to be insulating that room with some spray-on foam, and that'll be coming up probably sometime in April or maybe May. But as soon as the weather warms up, you'll be able to enjoy that project, and then you can see how it looks from the inside once we get it foamed up. And once we do that, it'll be airtight, and we should be able to heat that with a candle. So basically we have 3,000 gallons of rainwater catchment, and it takes a lot to freeze up 1,500 gallons per tank. And the main problem is the connectors between the two tanks and the ball valves, but we're able to keep those flowing pretty good. We did have one mishap this year because our temperatures really did get freezing cold, and we busted a pipe in between the two tanks, but that was a super easy fix with the rubber boots that we mounted on just for that reason, just in case we had to take it apart. We shut the ball valves, took it apart, replaced the pipe, and it was no problem. Wanted it to be all gravity fed. You could probably tell there's a slight fall in our property, and we worked that to our advantage. And the tanks are up there, the kitchen sink and the restroom area are level with the bottom of the tanks, so it worked out perfectly. Actually, when we moved here, that building was the only building on the property, and we just kind of figured out where to put the cabin, and now looking back, we kind of lucked into a good situation where the cabin was down low enough, and we were able to capitalize on that gravity fed system. So we don't need any pumps, any power, and no problem. Now in our state, it's perfectly fine. A lot of people do it, but you have to check your own codes and regulations in the place that you live, because oddly enough, there are places in our free country that don't allow rainwater catchment. There's another barrel that I'm actually going to be using for rainwater catchment as well. So I'm not kidding you when I tell you that every building that we have on our property has the ability to collect rain, and we capitalize on it. So just think about that when you guys are thinking about your rain catchment. I don't want to have one big system and then feed it all to all these buildings when these buildings all have roofs and I'm able to collect the rainwater off of them. We have a 3,000 gallon collection system with the PVC pipes, putting it in the ground, the rocks on the inside of the barn. If you guys go check out that playlist that I mentioned earlier, you'd be able to see how the whole process went together. But we have around $3,000 in the system, a little more, a little less, which is already probably paid for itself if you consider that when we lived on grid, our water bills were like anywhere from about $100 to $150, maybe a little bit more or less a month on the grid. So we've been here with this system for 3 years, and if you do the math, it's already paid for itself. So all the water we collect from here on out is basically free, and we're able to use it. I actually had to make this faucet because all the faucets of today, they come with these regulators inside of them, and I didn't have enough PSI to actually get the water through the faucet, so I had to make my own faucet. But as you can see, this is all gravity fed, works like a champ, and we can drink it. We brush our teeth with it, and we've been doing this for over 3 years, or for just about 3 years, and we haven't had zero problems. And I know some of our Amish neighbors who actually collect water into concrete cisterns, have no filters on them, and use them just as well. Well, that's it for the rainwater catchment video. Hopefully you guys got some information out of the video. If you have any questions that I didn't touch on, please leave them down in the comments section below. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, because we've got some neat projects coming up with more rainwater catchment that I'm going to show you guys how to do step by step. Also, we're going to be foam insulating the storage facility where the tanks are up in the other barn. And don't forget to watch that playlist in case you have questions about the installation that I didn't cover here. And if you have any more questions, just leave them down below, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
Hey guys, thanks for watching our video. You might want to check out these videos.
And if you want to become a Homestead homie, click the picture of us below.
We will see you tomorrow.